So how did you get Anthony Hopkins to make his first action comedy?
We had lunch. Lorenzo and I had lunch with he says, call me Tony, which I do. I'm in awe. And he was so gung-ho. And when we were making the movie, he kept saying, I'm having such a great time. So, you know, I think he had fun. And we sure had fun. But he's just brilliant. He's just brilliant.
Well, he's not the only one trying something new for the first time. You here have some major location shoots. Paris, London, Moscow.
Yeah.
How was it as a director, you know, handling something like that?
Well, in Paris, when they cater the meal, which is already like a 2-star meal, there's wine with the with the catering, which is just unheard of. But it was fantastic. The only thing is they honk their horns a lot.
Really?
Yeah, they
Oh,
get
wow.
angry if they're not used to traffic stopping. It's just different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, different
it's a
feel.
different way of working.
Well, you know, and talking of ways of working, you have directed the classic comedy Galaxy Quest, and also I felt the underrated Fun with Dick and Jane. I really liked that a lot.
Oh, thanks.
It was great. And then, but also you've done some really great television. You've done Curb Your Enthusiasm, Monk, Modern Family, Justified.
Jeez, you've done some homework.
Well, tell me, you know, as TV gets better and better, how do you think film is differentiating itself these days?
Well, that's a hard question. I mean, look, film is becoming a global business. Mm-hmm. And so, as a result, the movie business is starting to narrow its genres.
Interesting.
So the domestic filmmaking is now, you can see it, it's moving over to television. So there's incredible writing and incredible talent in television.
Definitely, yeah.
So television is, I mean, I always went back and forth between the two. I love television. It's fast, the writing is fantastic, and the talent is fantastic. And so, and it's, you have more freedom to, well, I have anyway, doing pilots and doing even episodic, you have freedom to try things, you know. Mm-hmm. But the difference, you know, Hollywood is making bigger tentpole style movies. This summer is more big tentpoles, I think, than they've ever made.
Yeah, it's making headlines. It's so crowded,
yeah.
Right? But I mean, so speaking of a global appeal, is that on your mind when you're making the film with the locations and also bringing in Byung-hun Lee?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. We bring in Byung-hun, and you know, initially that was written for an older character, but Lorenzo showed me one of Byung-hun's movies, and then I looked at 2 or 3 others, and I was like, wow. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal actor.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, he's a phenomenal actor, and his Korean movies are just outstanding. And so, on top of that, he's an incredible martial artist. So, you know, to get the two is a huge. That's why he's a huge star.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah, and
yeah.
So it's nice to see that coming over to U.S. film.
Yeah, no, he's really an accomplished actor. It was really great working with him. The nicest guy in the world.
Oh really? Oh good. I'm gonna interview him tomorrow, so I'll tell
God,
him you said that.
he's a good guy. Oh, he's the best. He is the nicest guy.
Well,
and
also,
professional. It's just,
oh good. The last question I wanted to ask you is that, you know, it used to be for a long time that you know, action movies were a young person's game, at least in front of the camera. But I think with Red, the first Red was so successful, you know, you can't just attribute that to the baby boomer generation getting older. So when you came on board, what in your mind is the appeal of the Red franchise? Why do you think it appeals to not just the same demographic as who's on screen?
well, first of all, I didn't treat them as old people. I treated them as characters.
Great, yeah.
So I didn't look at them, you know, there really aren't any jokes about being old and ancient, although there's, well, there might be 1 or 2. But
that's very refreshing.
But,
yeah.
But I looked at them as they're retired people who now have to get back in the game. So that's a great story because they have to come up, they have to compete against people half their age. So I looked at it as a story about these characters, not about young or old. And I think that the first Red did the same. So it's more about, do you like these characters and do you like putting them in jeopardy and watch them get out?